Very much for joining us. We appreciate you carving out some time to learn a little bit more about Bowdoin and to meet our guys. This is an awesome opportunity for you to get some FaceTime with the guys that we would have loved for you to visit this spring. The forum for this is an open book. Any questions you have about anything, please ask so that you can get their perspective on things, and then we'll go forward from there.
I'm Nate Kelsey. I'm from Hopkinton, New Hampshire.
Guys, I'm Alex Chabin from Andover, Massachusetts.
My name is Max McFerrin. I'm a rising senior as well. I'm a captain on the team.
I'm Hayden. I live in Ipswich, Mass, north of Boston. I'm a second year. Play center back. I dabble in center holding mid as well.
I'm Dylan Reed. I'm from Bethesda, Maryland, right outside DC. Played for Bethesda Academy.
Julian Montrena. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I played for Downtown United Soccer Club.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Weber. I'm from Natick, Mass. I played for NEFC.
Sure. My name is Ben Hausman. I will be a senior in the fall. I'm originally from Boulder, Colorado. Grew up playing for FC Boulder.
My name's Jack Seelig. I'm from Arkansas. Freshman, also going to be rising sophomore. Played for Arkansas United. You guys probably know it. Super famous. And
my name's Drake. I'll be a rising senior at Bowdoin.
Hello guys, I'm Chris. I'm a goalie, sophomore, basically senior, or basically junior now. And I'm from, or should be a senior. I'm old. I'm really old.
So this is the part where we just turn it over to you and let you ask some questions of the guys. I really want this to be, in many ways, about you. You know, however, whatever direction your questions take us is where we want to go, so that you learn more for your own evaluation of Bowdoin as an option for you.
For me, when I was thinking about where I wanted to go to college, one of the biggest things I considered is the situation where, like, kind of taking soccer out of it for a second and thinking about what school I'm going to be the happiest at with the other things that it offers. And I think Bowdoin was super attractive to me in that sense, because there's an unbelievable sense of community at this school. I think it's really easy to just walk around the campus, and every three people you see, you know, one of them, and just kind of give them a quick what's up.
So I was just saying, I was looking at a lot of the NESCACs, and they all definitely started to blend together, more or less. So what ended up differentiating Bowdoin for me was my interactions with the alumni. And I could tell when I spoke with the alumni that they just had like a really genuine, authentic willingness to help me and teach me more about Bowdoin and want me to like Bowdoin. And it's kind of one of those intangibles that some might get and some might not get, just based on their access to different alumni. But, you know, when I was talking to people who were just about to graduate and who graduated, it was clear to me that they both loved the school and really wanted to give back to the school.
But I mean, I think a big factor in it for me, honestly, was the coaching staff and like the facilities of it. I remember when I was like looking at schools and stuff like that, I was kind of blown away. But like, if you look at the field we have, it's incredible. Like, best field I've ever played on.
I really didn't think I was going to go D3, so I was kind of just going to like the D1 camps, and was almost certain I was just going to try and go D1 or nothing. And so then I heard about Bowdoin, went to the camp, and then when I got on campus, fell in love with it, saw the field, and thought that this feels like a D1 team just as a D3 team, especially with our league being so competitive. It's like still a really high level where I can still be like a normal person. So I think that's kind of what won me over.
I think what really differentiated Bowdoin was sort of in my junior year, kind of went a wave of visits to a bunch of colleges. Being from the South, I had never really actually heard of Bowdoin or the NESCAC, but I kind of went out here at the time, so it was just like on a whim, wanted to check it out. We looked at the school and saw how academically prestigious it was. So my parents were like, all right, you're gonna get up there. So on the visit, I thought it was
thanks to your parents.
Really but on the visit, I was sort of sold when I met the players. They really made me feel sort of unique. You know how I'm sure you guys are kind of starting to go through the process, or I've already sort of gone through that process, where some teams will kind of like, the players are just like you can tell you're a number. You're not really a person. They kind of just cast you aside, like drag you wherever, not really worried about you. But the guys really made me feel like they genuinely wanted to get to know me, like talk to me, had really good conversations. And I really valued that.
When you get to Bowdoin, you know right away that you have 30 some odd guys that are going to have your back. And that's something that I found right away that helped me through some of the initial struggles of coming to college. So
toughest parts about a transition is that you'll come and you'll be super busy like really, really quickly. And especially as a first year, you're going to want to socialize and have like a college experience right away. But the truth is you're going to be really busy with all this preseason, all the preseason commitments and other things. As you just get into the flow of the seasons.
But one thing that I always came back to was the team. And honestly, without the team, I wouldn't have been able to get through that injury and the transition to school.
Bowdoin is a great school, but the flip side of that coin is also means that at times it's challenging. So during those times of finals week or times when you have a lot of work building up, there are going to be some late nights and there's going to be some stress that's involved. But what's great about that is, like Shaven said, you got 30 dudes who are supporting you through that 100%. And that's also preparing you and serving you for your future. So.
And just to quickly add on, I'd say from a high school standpoint, you had a rigid sort of structure to your day. It was you go to school, you practice, you go home. In college, you're going to have a lot more free time. And I think one of the challenges for me was being able to manage that time and putting my focus towards soccer and academics. And I think learning to manage your time is a big challenge to getting to college. But you also got to know that you can ask any of your teammates here to help you with anything, and they will. So managing your time, I'd say.
Getting here, I quickly learned that doing an assignment in high school is nothing like doing an assignment in college. Like one simple math homework you might have done in high school might have taken 30, 45 minutes, and now it takes 2 to 3 hours. So I think just like wrapping my head around that, I'm not necessarily struggling, but it's just taking me a long time to do something. That was certainly hard at first because like I've never, I guess, really had to like struggle through something, but now here I am taking a lot longer. So I think that like initially it felt like I wasn't doing well when in fact it was just taking me longer to get things done.
Sorry. I went to like decent sized, in my opinion, it was a small high school in South Carolina, but it's ended up being the same size as Bowdoin, even though we're the smallest in our conference. So that was kind of interesting to me, coming to like a school where a lot of people sort of came from Northeast and like prep school, boarding school backgrounds. But I didn't actually find it too hard to sort of mesh in. I thought it was just really interesting. Everyone's really kind in classes. I appreciate. So from a smaller school standpoint, like a lot of the class sizes are smaller than what I was used to, which is really cool. And then also just talking to a lot of my friends that go to like state schools where it's a huge university and you sort of have your own little school with your major. I kind of like the aspect of Bowdoin where since it's a smaller school, like everyone sort of knows your name. You see a lot of the similar faces like throughout your day. And it's really easy to kind of form that community that Bowdoin really tries to translate.
Learn to think a lot. That's like, really that's what the gist of the liberal arts school is. Like I think you're in your box and like in high school, of like who your friends are and who everything is, and you get to liberal arts school and it's like, I'm going to take at least one course in everything like at this school that there is, and like then you figure out what you want to study.
And Chris, how many people did you know from Arkansas before this fall?
Very much zero. Yeah, like Jack Seelig is my number one.
Born and raised.
I think it's definitely like different when you're in season versus out of season. I think your time commitments are like your whole schedule is going to be like different for obvious reasons. I think in season you're going to have to like manage your time well, and that's going to take some skill. But I think the college gives you a lot of resources and obviously you have like the rest of the team, and they're gonna like they have you like as their top priority, like the college, like they want you to succeed. Like not only just the college, but like the coaches as well. Like everyone wants you to succeed. Which
I was just gonna say, Jack's also a really smart kid. The workload is definitely pretty tough. So you definitely got to be like on your game when you get to Bowdoin in terms of like he was the type of kid that was perfect to be on top of it, but someone like me is like you might be a little bit behind when you get there, but like you got to just like kind of follow the other guys on the team and hop on board. So.
And I think out of season you definitely have more time on your hands, so that takes like I guess more discipline to like not just like sort of be like free I guess with that time, but I think you should be able to manage it. And like I've found I'm able to manage it with the help of like coaches, the college, and other players on the team.
The college has a pretty strong support system in terms of academic success. Coach was talking about Camp Bar Hall, and over in Camp Bar there's I forget the acronym is CLT or something like that, but it's CLT, where you can go over and have an appointment. I think you just drop in during drop-in hours, and you can talk about anything from like your paper you're working on to how to negotiate and navigate your schedule. And I think that's a really important thing that a lot of people use, and people don't feel kind of weird doing. I definitely felt that in the past, and sensed that talking to other kids about it. But I don't, that so many kids do that, whether it's working on a paper, as I said, to just talking about school life.
It's definitely not just from the first year. Like it's not. I mean, you say off season, but it's only an off season because you don't have games. Like it's still a very like big commitment, but not so much that you feel like it's overwhelming. But like Chris saying, like you still have a full week of like lifting and playing and running. So like you're staying fit.
I think the other guys would agree that even though we have like normally a commitment every day, that overall you're still going to have so much more free time to sort of pursue whatever you wanted to do that you didn't think you had time for in season, out of season.
So in the winter moving into spring, we work primarily with the strength and conditioning coach, Coach Willie.
Also, we have a strength and conditioning coach who is one of the best in the game that we see. He has a pretty nice pedigree, used to work at University of Arizona, worked with like Nick Foles and all of that. So he wants to tell those stories, but he's a really good guy, really smart, knows what he's doing, and is willing to give us his time to help all of us get better.
Our schedule would generally be, we'll do like lifting Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Tuesday, we'll do a speed training, and then Thursday mornings we play as a group and then do like a little fitness afterwards. And then we're generally squeezing in like another pickup session or two throughout the week, depending on the health of the guys and, how hard the week was. But usually try to play at least once, but usually 2 or 3 times, and then doing the lifting as well.
We can't, I guess, necessarily make everything as mandatory as like if you don't come, you're cut on the spot, but it really sort of shows light about who's willing to come out and work harder in order to make the team better, and who's sort of prioritizing other things and kind of taking a load off and not necessarily like trying to get as good as the rest of the team.
Drake, can you also comment a little bit about the nature of mandatory versus voluntary versus coach directed compared to player directed?
Yes. So in the off season, so after the season, the coaches are not allowed to sort of coach us in.
Not sort of. We are not allowed.
You're not allowed to coach us in practices or really have like a kind of dip their hand into the pot and like checking on, like coming to the lifts to look at people and like monitoring, writing notes. It's all sort of player determined.
And Houseman and like other captains lead is really awesome because it kind of brings the team together, and everyone, even though technically it can't be mandatory because of like the NESCAC and the rules, everyone is still like expected to be there if you're fit. And so that's awesome because it keeps the team kind of moving and everyone's working really hard.
In Brunswick's honestly like really, really nice town. Not like too big or anything. Portland's 30 minutes away, which is nice, having a city right down the road. But Brunswick's like, honestly, I don't know what the other guys would say about it, but if you've been to a lot of the other NESCAC schools, I'd say it's one of the nicest towns out of all of them to be in.
Hayden and I, the kid that we were talking about earlier, actually went to a couple concerts in Portland. Really easy to get to Portland if you don't have a car as a first year. It's like a $3 bus ride. So it's sweet. And Portland's a really, really cool town.
I mean, I think for one, there are a lot of cool places you can travel and like sites to see. Like, I know there are a couple lighthouses nearby that like I've driven to with friends and checked out, and that's always a fun time.
I guess second, the location. As Julian said, I think that being on the coast of Maine is a really unique and cool.
I think like one of the things that brought me to Bowdoin, first of all, was like the food at Bowdoin, but also my sister sent me some article and was like, Portland is like some of the best food in New England. So it's really cool. There's a lot of stuff to do there. Yeah, it's really accessible.
You're right near the water, so you go down and you're 15 minutes away from being at a beach somewhere.
I think Brunswick is a pretty ideal college town for a small liberal arts college environment. You know, it's not Ohio State, so it's not 50,000 students with a million different options. But I think especially in the landscape of the NESCAC, when you compare the different towns that NESCAC schools operate in, I think Brunswick is a perfect combination of big enough to give you all the things that you have to have, like a Target and a Walmart, and small enough to make it really feel like it's a quaint town and that there's a positive relationship between the town and the college without being a major city. I think if you're a candidate that's looking for a major city, then Bowdoin's not the perfect fit for you. But hopefully a perfect college town is exciting for you.
Like in club games, it was kind of just, okay, we want to win. But like in college, it's like, we need to win. Like everyone's just gunning the whole game and you can't switch off for a single moment. There's a free kick from 50 yards out. Like you've got to be switched on, like getting your man, because if your man scores, you're going to hear it from everyone on the field. So you just got to be focused the whole time, and it's a change.
Every game in the NESCAC is, I mean, it's a dogfight. It really is. And that's one of the reasons I love this conference, is that every day, like, anybody can beat anybody, and you got to give 100%, and you got to have a will to win. And if you don't show up one day, you could get beat.
I say like head to the grindstone. A lot of teams will grind out 1-0 or 2-1 wins. It's not common. You'll find like a 4-3 or 3-2 shootout. So that's my take coming from